วยมากเลยอยากพี่มาด้านหน้าได้นะคะใครจะถ่าย
Hey, what's up, everyone? Good evening. It's 12:47 a.m. here in the Dominican Republic. Yes, we're 1 hour ahead of Eastern Time Zone, and I couldn't sleep. I actually sat down on a recent podcast hosted by Flip Flop and Big Boss, and they had an interesting topic. The topic was around what is the passport, bro? And it was interesting to hear the different variations in defining what a passport, bro. But now that we're getting everyone attention, the next question is what we're going to do with that attention. I noticed that if you actually Google Passport Bro, there's not really a clear definition in what it is. And I don't know what is a true Passport Bro. Although I have fellow travel colleagues that are promoting Passport Bros, I still don't understand the definition. And the current perception of Passport Bro is that we're mainly traveling for women. And that's something that I want to discuss. Just want to do an audio check. Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Just let me know in the chat. Can you hear me? One, if you can hear me. Two, if you can't. Just want to make sure before I start diving into the content that I have right now. But again, this is a last minute on schedule podcast. I actually sat on another podcast, just listened in. This was hosted by Flip Flop and Big Boss, where they defined what is a passport bro. And it was just quite interesting to hear the different variations of passport bro. Now, personally for me, I don't know what is a passport bro, but I assume that it revolves around traveling, which I do now. And I always question myself, do I fall in that category as a passport bro? To be honest, I don't know. I hosted a podcast 2 days ago where this young gentleman jumped on the live stream by the name of Joseph, and he actually kind of gave me a good not definition, but a good reason why I see things differently. Because granted, guys, I'm 45 years old. I've been traveling for over 20 years. I never allowed myself to be put into a category. So with today's movement, the Passport Bro movement, it's more coming from the younger generation. And for someone who has the experience, someone who has the know-how, I see things completely different. And now that we have everyone's attention as far as the Passport Bro movement all over social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, the next question is, what are our plans? What is the goal of the Passport Bro movement? And that's the topic for today. Like, what is the next move for the Passport Bro? Is it still to continue to talk about the mistreatment of Black men within the United States, the ill relationship between the men and women in the Westernized society? Or is it about traveling? Or, is it about traveling, enrichment, self-improvement? These are things that I want to know. Does the Passport Bro focus on those things, or is it strictly around women? Now, granted, before I go into greater detail, I want to share this recent article that I came across. This was recently published on December 29, 2022. Why some Black women aren't happy with the Passport Bro movement. Now, guys, you guys made the mainstream. You have everyone's attention now. And the current perception of the passport bros is that we're strictly traveling to find submissive women. That's the only reason why we travel, especially as black men. Because to be honest, when I think of passport bros, I think of black men traveling. I don't think of any other race. I mean, although other races are included, when I think of passport bros, I think of black men. So when I see articles such as this, why some black women aren't happy with the passport bros movement and all the hoopla around the passport bros focusing around women, men finding women overseas, and that's the reason why they're traveling. I think that's a poor excuse and why you decide to travel. That's just my take. Granted, as a single man, you want to go out and meet beautiful women and experience those things, but never let that be your forefront reason why you travel. But then again, I can't dictate, I can't tell anyone how to travel, how to spend their money, how to spend their time. I'm not in that position. Whatever you decide to do, whatever makes you happy, go in and do it. However, we need a clear definition. What is a passport bro? But also, too, we need to tell our own story. Because one thing, when I was reading this article, this is by R. Pena. So I assume that this is from a Hispanic woman perspective of what is a passport bro. So this person by the name of R. Pena is writing about an article about black women hating on passport bros, which primarily talks about black men. Because if you scroll down within this article, I'm gonna read this to you. The passport bros have officially divided our internet. A growing group of thousands of black men is preaching to more men on social media platforms that women in other countries are the best source for a traditional woman to settle down with. Just follow the hashtag, and you see black men of all ages describing their experiences with the opposite sex in the other countries compared to women in the United States. Again, guys, this is strictly focusing on men finding women overseas. Now, I know for a fact that guys in their 20s are not traveling overseas to find a wife in their early 20s. Let's be honest. So it's important that if you are part of this movement, to my younger generation, my younger men, you need to take control of your narrative and tell your own story. Do not let someone else tell your story. As for me, I can share something. I can share another screen with you guys. This is my website. It's called Black Man Travels. A couple of years ago, I decided, you know what? I'm gonna take this and tell my story. So one day, maybe I could pass this down to my sons, so they have a document of how I traveled, how I lived the world. And what I've done, I've grown a great following. I have a steady website traffic visits. I took control in telling my own story. I decided not to let another person tell my story, share my experiences. So I created Black Man Travels. Black Man Travels is strictly a blogging website that I share a lot of my travel experiences, as well as give you guys tips and tricks on how to travel. And as you can see, I have a YouTube page, Facebook group, Instagram, and TikTok. Again, guys, I'm controlling my story. I'm not letting anyone else control my story. So when someone quick to refer me to a passport bro, or you quick to travel for women, I say, you know what, go to my website. When I tell a woman or tell a guy, go to my website, blackmantravels.com, they're surprised to see that I have a website highlighting my travels. I have blogs that talks about my trips reports, giving guys tips and tricks on how to travel. But also I take a lot of pictures and videos. These are some of the pictures that I've taken. Guys, I'm not ashamed to tell my story. So again, when someone quick to say, oh, you just traveling for pussy, like, wait, hey, hold up, pump your brakes. I have a website. Go to blackmantravels.com. And once they go into that Black Man Travel website, guess what? They're highly impressed on what I'm doing with my travels. So it's important, guys, you tell your own story. Don't let someone else tell your story. Whatever the movement that you're part of, if you be part of that movement, make sure you sharing your experiences, you telling your story from your perspective, because again, you don't want anyone to loop you all in the same category as everyone else. I have several brothers that I know personally who are married to foreign women who have great relationships. These women love them. These women are taking care of them. These women are doing better for the family because of them. I will never sit here and say, you know what, don't take a chance in, finding love overseas, because why? I have receipts. My fellow colleagues are married to foreign women and they have successful relationships. And guess what? A few of them brought them back to the States and they live in comfortably. They live in great lives. And it's important, again, don't let someone tell your story. I can't say this enough, because again, if you can be part of a movement, you want to claim this movement as your own, make sure you have a space to share your story and share your experiences. Because as of right now, when you type in Passport Bros, it's always around women, traveling for women. It's like there's nothing around traveling for enrichment, better oneself, digital nomad, health and wellness. Nothing around that. It's strictly around finding submissive women. Again, if that's your primary goal, so be it. Let that be your primary focus. However, if that's not your focus, make sure you share your story and you tell your stories the way you want to tell it. Because again, the last thing you want to do is lump yourself into a category that does not define you as a traveler. So all I can say is this, man. And I want to really make this more interactive, and you guys are more than welcome to jump on. I see Buck Travels. I'm gonna add you shortly, Buck Travel. Just give me a second. So just going back to how I started, this is a unplanned unplanned podcast. I didn't plan for it. I was bored. I couldn't sleep. So I said, you know what, let me just follow up on what Flip Flop and Big Boss talked about and try to get a better definition. What is a Passport Bro? If you have your own definition, what is a Passport Bro, then run with it. Me personally, I'm not a Passport Bro. As much as everyone wants to loop me into it, I'm not one. I don't want to put myself to any category. If anything, I'm a Black man who travels. That's it. If any category I'm going to claim is Black man travels. Besides that, we're all in the same bucket. We're all traveling for our own particular reasons, but at the end of the day, I want you guys to have a great time. So, guys, this is a good conversation, man. And there was a great conversation between Flip Flop, Big Boss, No Excuse. I just sat in, just listened to the conversation, and it was quite interesting. But I think it's important that we need to tell our own story. Don't let someone else write your story. If you are part of this Passport Bro movement, make sure you have a say in how the movement moves forward. Because again, as of right now, when you type in Passport Bros, you instantly match with seeking women. And as someone who is a corporate guy, you have to be mindful who you associate yourself with, the brand, the organization, and so forth. So it's important that if you're going to be affiliated with a group or a trend, make sure you understand what that trend is actually doing. I'm not hating on the Passport Bro. I know I've been called a hater plenty of times. And I'm like, I've been doing this way before you. But simply because I'm not following in line as a group, as a herd, I'm considered as a hater. And guess what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay being a hater. I've never been the one since high school. I've never been the one to follow the crowd. Never. I was a skater. I was a graffiti artist. I was a wrestler. I did my own thing. I moved the way I wanted to move. And even at 45, I still have that same mindset. So even if I decide to loop myself into a movement, I need to make sure that I understand what's this movement and what is the next move. So that's my question to the Passport Bros. Like, what is your next move besides seeking a wife? Seems like everyone is traveling to seek a wife. What is the next move? You have the media attention now. Everyone is watching you. Everyone is curious in how the Black man, aka Passport Bro, is moving in these countries. So now, what are you going to do? So I want to just go through a little video like I normally do, showing like video clips of a story. As a Black man, I'm speaking for a Black man because I am a Black man. we prejudge instantly. Every day we have to prove ourselves. We have to prove our wealth. We have to prove our love, our commitment. We need to prove how strong we are because we live in certain communities. And it can get very tiring. So now you reach at a point in your life now you have a passport. You could go out there and see the world. There's so much to see out there, guys. So much to see. And you realize that the world really accepts you for who you are. Although you are a gringo with American dollars, they still give you an opportunity without prejudging you. So now you're in these different countries, access to tons of beautiful women, women that you never thought you'd seen in your small town in Mississippi, Arkansas, Kansas, or in cities like Chicago, New York, Miami, LA. You're exposed to a whole new set of women. And you realize how feminine these women are. These women are catering to you, and they're doing it out of their women. I'm sorry, they do it out of their feminine nature. It's part of their culture to cater to you, but also too, they expect you to be the man of that household. So now you come back home, you start comparing based on what you experienced back in these countries to what you experience here in the US. And you made the decision, like, you know what, I'm done dating within the United States. I'm gonna start dating overseas. But keep in mind, in order for you to date overseas, you gotta have money and you gotta have time. And if anything, you gotta have time. It's very costly to date overseas. Guys, you can't have just a strictly WhatsApp video conversation. You need to actually take the time to go out to those countries, get to know the customs, the culture, learn the language, and start building a relationship with people. It doesn't work by just you meeting someone on Tinder or Plenty of Fish and boom, you guys in a relationship. That's not realistic. So you want this type of woman in whatever country that you have a desire in getting a woman. But you think that it's going to be that easy, and it's not. Whatever, I've been part of a relationship for almost 7 years now, and yes, it's been trying sometimes. So there was some times that I wanted to call it quits because it could get expensive, miscommunications that time. If anything, there's tons of miscommunication. If someone's not answering the phone or someone's not, responding to you within a timely manner, you tend to prejudge and think a certain way. So those things tend to happen. And that's the thing, it's like a lot of people don't talk about the complexity of these long distance relations, especially with a foreigner. Because again, there will be communication issues. And there will also be time issues and financial issues as well, because you may not have the funds to travel, let's say for a birthday. So you have to wait until another month or so to travel. So those are some of the things you need to take into consideration. And guys, you can only do so much video talk. You can only sustain a relationship for so long doing a video conference call with your girl. Sometimes you got to go and spend 2 weeks, a month, or 3 months to really know who this person is. You're not going to get to know someone by strictly texting and doing a WhatsApp video call every night. Are you okay? Good night. That's not going to work. That's not realistic. So understand, before you decide to pursue a relationship overseas and go date someone, understand that it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you money and your time. And also, too, you better have thick skin. You better have no insecurities, because trust me, if she doesn't answer her phone and your mind start wondering what the hell she's doing or where she's at, you better have thick skin, man, because again, she too has a life. You can't expect her not to have a life while you back home in the States. So just being realistic, man. That's all I got to say. With the Passport Bro, guys, if you are part of this movement, understand what this movement is truly about, and does it define you as a traveler? Now, if your primary reason why you're traveling is to strictly to find a wife and date women, I hope you got the time and resources to maintain that relationship, because it's going to cost. And be realistic too, man, because there's a great probability that you're going to the same cities, the same location that every other traveler is going to, and she's probably dating more than one guy. Is what it is, guys. I've been in this game for quite a while, and I've seen it all. So just wanted to say, again, it was an interesting podcast with Flip Flop. Shout out to Flip Flop. Shout out to Big Boss. Shout out to No Excuse. And they had a very interesting conversation. But, for me, I'm not a Passport Bro. I've claimed that I'm not a Passport Bro. I'm Black Man Travels. And I travel for me. I travel for adventure. I travel for enrichment. I travel for health. I travel for therapy. I travel for love. I travel for peace of mind. I travel to live. That's why I travel. Now, if your reasons are different from mine, I respect that. We're not going to move and act the same. I totally understand that. But I refuse to put myself in the category where I feel that I can be limited to a certain box, especially where there's not a clear definition what is a passport bro and where the movement is actually going. And I can't say this enough, guys. Control your narrative. Tell your own story. Don't let someone else, like this woman did. She literally wrote an article about the passport bro, about black men, black women relationship, and she's more than likely a Hispanic woman. So, with that being said, I'm going to open the line. If you guys want to join the conversation, definitely join. I'm going to drop the line in there. And feel free to jump in. So, hey, what's up, Joseph?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you, Joseph.
Hey, how's it going, Kano?
I'm doing. 1 second, man. Someone else. What's up, Buck Travel? What's going on, man?
What's going on, man?
Nothing good, man. Sorry about that. I had to finish the monologue before I add you on to the call.
Oh, no worries, man.
Yeah, man. So what do you guys think, man? You know, again, I've been labeled a hater several times. I've been called, you know, a small non-factor YouTube because I have less than 2,000 subscribers. But again, I'm not here I'm not here for the clout. I'm not here for the money. I'm not here for the subscribe. I'm here to share my stories. And if someone can learn from it and become a better person, so be it. So now that the Passport Bros have caught everyone's attention, everyone's talking about the Passport Bros. Everyone now made mainstream news. Yahoo News is talking about it now. What's the next move? So if you guys can answer that question, that'd be great for me, man. I'll start off with
yeah. For me, it's like I've been traveling before this whole Passport bro term came up. You know, I've been traveling and I will keep traveling, it's just I just don't like the title, behind it. It's like all of a sudden it became a movement, man. So I've been traveling forever, man. So I mean, they can't tell me anything. Now when you being called a passport bro, you being grouped into one segment, and that can get ugly real quick because one person does something wrong. Now you all being grouped, and we don't want that, man. I'm just a brother that travels, man.
I agree. You know what? I'm gonna have Joseph chime in, and then Mr. G. 1 second. Let me have Joseph jump in. Joseph, what's your thought on the topic?
I agree with the last fella who said that the grouping could be a potential issue, right? If one person does something wrong, then they'll highlight that, and it'll be kind of almost like a stain on the movement itself. Someone does something really out of character. I mean, I'm talking about outside of, they already kind of smearing the name, so to speak. Is they're only going overseas to get girls and prostitutes and all this other stuff. But if someone does something really outlandish, then that could be, it will be a potential issue. It'll paint just a bigger target on everybody with our particular complexions back. So, but I think that, and I mentioned it before, that it is a double-edged sword, that it's getting a lot of attention and it's catching a lot of attention of young black men like myself who otherwise, if not for this movement, would not have known about it. They would not have been as aware of it. So all of the TikTok videos of it getting bashed, as crazy as it sounds, I think that's a good thing, because it's kind of like it's like having a cookie jar, right? It's the old, you have the cookies on the table in the cookie jar, and they're telling you not to put your hand in it. And it's only human nature to put your hand in the cookie jar and see what's so bad about taking the cookie out the cookie jar. So that's what they're really doing. They're playing, it's almost like reverse psychology. They think that they're deterring a lot of black men away from it, but in fact, you got a lot of black men who never would have thought about it or considered it, or even just didn't cross their mind. It didn't cross my mind until 2.5, 3 years ago, and I'm 34, and I didn't even realize it was a possibility. So if it did that for me, and it's doing it on a wider scale for a lot more black men, then I think that's the biggest positive. As far as the rebranding and reimaging, that's going to take time. I think that if we focus more on going there for business purposes and being about our business, it will help shape the narrative a little bit better. But white men also had this problem with the male Russian order, the male Russian brides. that went on for maybe 2 or 3 decades before it slowly died out, and the narrative started to change for their side of the things. And then it just kind of went more underground from there. But it just no matter, it's kind of like no matter what you do, you be damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, and before I include Mr. G, I totally agree with you. I think the TikTok videos are kind of hilarious, especially with some of these wild assumptions that a lot of these women are making. I'm like, wow, where are you getting this from? I've heard that they label these passport bros as predators. I'm like, really? Like predator? That's a strong word to label someone or even a group. So guys, that's why I'm telling more guys, like if you are part of this movement, tell your story. Don't let these people make up these stories because you're staying quiet because you just want to have conversations. Stop having conversations, travel and show what you're doing. If I know a lot of guys who are currently doing a lot of great things in these foreign communities, where they're donating, doing food drives, school drives, shoe drives. I've done plenty of things overseas that I haven't shared with a lot of people. But the thing is, I realize the importance of telling your story, guys. It's been too long as a black man, we allowed other people to tell our own story. And it's like now we have a platform, social media. Start sharing what you're doing overseas. Stop walking through these walking cities or whatever. It's like, great, if you're gonna do it, don't record it. And that's the thing. Like a lot of stuff that we're doing are not the good stuff that we're recording. Go do something different and share that. But I understand a lot of people are doing more for the clicking baits, getting the views, YouTube, Instagram. They want to get the clout. I understand that, but guys, just be careful, man. I'm in marketing. I've been in corporate marketing for almost 20 years, and I know the power of associations. And the last thing you want to do is for the passport bro fall into a category that is kind of known as disdain within our own community. And that's what I'm afraid of. It's just like we have all these these leaders, these influencers that are not really showing the true light of what traveling is all about. If you're going to claim passport bros and I'm going to get my passport and find another woman, bro, don't let that be your primary reason why you're traveling, because that's a weak reason why you're traveling. Now, there's certain things that don't need to be said. Like, dude, there's certain times that I travel, I got it in, but I don't need to say it.
It's hard not to, though, man. I mean,
yeah, like I don't need to say it.
We are. I mean, as guys, even around my male friends, like hearing like real, like face to face, we're exchanging the type of women that we're dealing with, we're dating, we're talking to. You got that one? Oh, damn. Okay, what's up? Okay, oh, she look nice, but you could do better. It's like it's always going to be that sort of almost friendly, competitive nature, even in real life. I've been doing this for years, so it's just pushed to the forefront online, and for us, it's normal. I mean, I think it's normal. Like, if I'm like, for example, I've seen the type of woman you've posted, and I'm thinking like, damn, Kamal he got good taste. The type of woman you deal with in Thailand. And that's what I'm thinking, right? But even you do it yourself sometimes. You might not do it as publicly as some of the other men, but it's still fairly public considering the group that you're in is being seen by a lot of different men in the group. But you have some guys within the group who might take that same energy that we have and share it amongst ourselves, and we publicize it a little bit to the world. And then that comes with the scrutiny, right? That comes with the women saying that, oh, we're being predators and things like that. And it's like, no, this is all consensual. Like, we don't have to do none of that to get what women are throwing at us anyway. So, and I think that is not that bad. It can get bad, but that is what motivates men initially to even want to travel. I mean, it's just it might not be it's the starting line, but it's not the finishing line, right? So it's the starting point, but it's not the part that finishes. So I think a lot of guys initially get into it. I gotta, I just want to go see for myself. I gotta see for myself, even myself now to this extent. But then it's like once you're there, once you're experiencing it, once you're, seeing that there's only so many women you can deal with, there's only so much you can do, then you get that out of your system, and then you can finally do other things that it's like, oh, I didn't even think I could, you're there for one purpose, but then you find yourself staying there for a different purpose, is what I'm saying. And the initial purpose is almost always going to be women-based. That's just the way men are. We go conquer the land. I think that's just our nature. We go and conquer the land, and the women come with the territory. And then you see, oh, there's gold here, there's land here, I can build a business here, I can build a family here. So it starts off the foundation. We might not want to admit it, we might not even like to say it, but it's women. They're there. It's okay, that's the motivation.
I totally agree with that. I think, even for me, when I first started traveling, when I was divorced, I was traveling. There was some times that I strictly went out and did my thing. But now looking back at it, I'm like, man, I missed out on a lot of great opportunities. Because my primary focus at that time, granted, I was coming from a hurt place. That all I wanted to do was one thing. I wanted to release. But now looking at it, it's like, okay, that served the purpose, but now what can I do better? What's next? And that's the question to every guy who travels, like, what's next? Okay, once you got this out of your system, what's your next move? Are you planning to expat? Or are you planning to open a business overseas? These are some things you want to consider. And again, for a lot of new guys in their 20s and their 30s who are traveling for the first time, who just getting their passport, look, whatever your reason to travel, go experience it. But understand that there's more to see and do when you get there. And that's something that made me realize, and you said it yourself, you can't smash every person you see. You just can't. So when you have that mindset that you think you can go out there and conquer, you're going to come back more defeated, because guess what? You're going to need a vacation from your vacation. Because you're going to need time to recover.
That's 100%, man. So Kanal, I think guys, I think guys should travel, and make the women the icing on the cake, man. Because, like, it completes the whole package. Like, I just recently got back from Peru, man, and I enjoy the food over there. The culture,
the food
the
is
people,
amazing.
The people are friendly. Like, they treated me good. Like, the women were feeling me. I mean, they never seen bigger. When I went there, I was just bigger. Like, I was towering over everybody. So, but the women was feeling me, right? So, in the gym and all that. So the women was the icing on the cake. I had some when I went there, but it's just that how beautiful Lima was. Like, it's a coastal city. It's beautiful. You got that. I don't know what time you went, Kano, but I went the perfect time, man.
I went in November. I went in November, and I was in Miraflores.
Okay, so you went right when summer was about to start. So I went in recently December when it was their summer, and the temperature, bro, it was beautiful. It was like, it doesn't fall lower than 65, and it doesn't go above 80. So it was in a perfect range, and you don't have to turn on your air conditioner on, and you don't have to turn on your heater on. Perfect. So I had a good time. The food amazing, people. I had a couple women. Matter of fact, I had also there's Afro-Peruvians out there. So I was messing with some of them too. So but they're rare. Yeah, I mean, you can't find them that much. But I had a good time out there, man. I went there strictly for the food, and it turned out to be other additional aspects of it. The women came with it. Like, I wasn't focused. I mean, we all see us men. We travel for women, right? But this trip, I didn't intend it to be for women. I want to enjoy Peru for the adventures they offer, but the women also became an aspect of it, man. And I'm like, now I gotta go back over there next time when I go there, man, because actually they were showing me love like out there, like the women they were showing me love because they never seen a dude like me before, you know.
Yeah. It was
I'm
like
bigger.
that.
I'm bigger. I'm bald, and I got beard. So it's like it's a different aspect, you know. So you know, like they used to having, you know, let's say they used to having rice and beans every day. You know, I went over there and I'm to the steak, so it's something rare, you know. So, but
It's
I
funny.
believe brothers who you know, like just go outside of the box, start traveling, you know, places like, you know, the big people always talk about the big three, man. Like there's some other places out in the world that we can travel to that we are actually admired, you know. Like I've been hearing some good stories about Lebanon, you know, Turkey, like
Turkey,
Israel,
yeah. Hmm.
all these places. Nobody
Portugal.
seems to cover it. People keep going back to the same places. You got this big time contract traders keep going back to the same places, and we want to see new places. So we're actually trying to diversify. You know,
Yeah, I totally agree with you because like when I went to Lima, I was there in 2018. No, 2017. I went to Lima, Peru. I stayed in Miraflores. It was a great time. Literally, like wherever I was going, people were staring at me. People were looking at me. And it was a great time. And I ate a lot. The food is amazing in Peru. And like you said, the beauty of the city is a coastal city. It's beautiful, man. I had a great time. I mean, I would never thought that I'd enjoy myself in Peru. Just similar to when I went to Ecuador. I had an amazing time in Ecuador. Last year, I took my girl to El Salvador. Guys, when you think of El Salvador, what do you think of? M13, right?
Yeah.
MS-13. Yeah. You think of gun violence and everything else, but dude, El Salvador is beautiful. Black sand, volcanic sand, coastal cities. I mean, I had a great time, and it was for the cheap. I flew to El Salvador for like $200 round trip. So so the thing is, it's like I told guys, don't lead. I mean, yes, if you're starting out, you're anxious, definitely do it. You know, I gave guys tips how to meet women overseas, you know, how to pipeline and so forth. Again, I'm a huge advocate for that, but just don't lead with it because again, when you lead with it, you're gonna get hurt. Hence, current situation in Medellin, Colombia, where guys are getting drugged and robbed. You know, and when you show someone you're too anxious, man, what happens? They
Yeah.
find an
Yeah.
opportunity.
Mhm.
So it's just like for me as a movement, I just want to know what's the next move as Passport Bro continue to get the attention and the allure that it's getting. What is the next move? Like you were telling guys to get their passport. We need to make sure that we educating them how to properly move in these countries because again, a lot of guys are coming from these small cities, small towns, never been on a plane before, and now we're telling them to go overseas to a
Yeah.
whole different country with a whole different language, a whole different system. We need to make sure that we square them away. And sometimes we don't need to provide a consultation, man. Some things you can just get for free online. Like for me, when I prepare for Thailand, dude, I got a lot of my information from white YouTubers.
Hmm.
I didn't get my information from black YouTubers because all the black YouTubers were focused on Pattaya. So I said,
Uh,
you know what? I wanted to go to Chiang Mai, I wanted to go to Chiang Rai, I wanted to go to Phuket. There was no content creator that was providing content in those cities. None. So guess what? I had to follow prominent white YouTubers who were promoting Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, Phuket, Bangkok. That's why I was able to do the things I was able to do because I watched their videos. And after watching their videos, I conducted my own research. Always do your own research. Because just because someone had a bad experience in one place doesn't mean that you're going to have the same experience that they had. So again, I'm not trashing, I'm not hating. Y'all call me hater and all that good stuff, but I have more receipts than most of the guys that call me haters.
you shown
It
them.
just,
So
yeah,
I mean, like, you good in that category. You're not one of those people who talk about it, but you yourself can't even back up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
oh,
like someone who pretends to be a millionaire. They're not a millionaire, but they're trying to get advice on how to be a millionaire. It's like,
it's just yes, as Buck Travel mentioned, you know, there's a lot to see and do, guys, beyond the big three. Like right now, I'm in Dominican Republic. Right now, I've been here for 3 weeks. I'm anxious to get back home. I'm anxious to get back to the States. I'm ready to get back to my grind mode, make some money, get back into doing what I normally do because I have a life in the United States. That's one thing is I have a life in the United States. I box, I go out, I go smoke cigars, I still do me.
Yeah.
But I also have my young son. I'm an active father. And each day that I'm here, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, man, I gotta get out of here. And as much as I want to do with my girls, like, hey, I had to tell her today, like, listen, I'm buying a ticket to get it. I'm cutting this trip short. Of course she didn't like it, but it was just like, I'm a father. I'm an active father. I have a 19-year-old son who plays football at Kennesaw State, and I have an 11-year-old. And also, too, I need to get back to work, man. I need to make money.
Yeah.
You can only sit on your ass for so damn long, man. That's why I never understood, go out and live in this country. Like, how you gonna make your money? And I don't like making little money. I'm used to seeing a certain amount of, income coming in. And when you travel, you're not making any money unless you got, rental properties and so forth.
Well, I mean,
so
there's other ways. Well,
yeah, there's other ways, but for me, in my case, I'm not making any money being here.
Yeah.
As a contractor, we make our bread and butter putting them hours in. So although I'm having a great time here, I probably gained like 10 pounds because I'm eating rice every single day and drinking rice, drinking rum every day, man. I probably gained 10 pounds here. But I'm anxious to get back to the gym. Like I want to get back to the damn bags. Like, man, I want to touch some weights again. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I like to walk through the parks. Well, Atlanta got amazing parks, walking trails. I love that, man. And it's just like I can't walk around here in Dominican Republic and get run over by a motor concho or a damn crazy ass driver. But
it sounds like you want to go back to which makes sense, a routine.
Yeah, that's what I need. Yeah, I'm a very routine oriented guy. Even like when I'm traveling, I like to have my day set up. But since I've been here in the Dominican Republic, I don't have a routine. I'm literally sleeping in to like 1 or 2 in the afternoon. Like I stay up late, but I sleep a lot during the day. It's just weird, man. My body's off. So, but it's all good. I'm spending time with the lady, and she's appreciating me being here. We're having a great time spending time together, but. Just like I had to tell her today, it's like, hey, it's time for me to get ready to get out of here.
Yeah. And I think that is the next move, which you mentioned earlier. You pointed out just before you brought us on is finances. I think ultimately, and I spoke about this last time I was here, is like that is key. Like that is, man, the money is just so key. And I'm talking like, not like a couple of bucks here and there.
No, yeah, I'm talking about real money.
Real money, yeah.
I'm talking about you bringing in 12 G's a month, easy.
Yeah.
Like after tax.
Yeah. Money you take home that you can hold and don't have to worry about, everything else is taken care of. You're holding that kind of money every month. That is to me, even that is like the starting point to me. But it doesn't have to be that much. I think for us, it's kind of like that's the level mindset we're on. But I think for most guys, it would be somewhere around $3,000 to $5,000 a month. If they can figure out how to make that consistently, then they could live anywhere in the world overseas. And for me,
but here's
no kid, huh?
But here's the thing, Joseph. Everyone can make that money if they take the time to learn that new skill, that new trade. We can make that money. The question is, are you willing to put in the work into it? That's the thing, man. Like I have guys tell me, hey, I want to do what you do. It's like, okay, are you willing to study for the next 3 to 6 months? Study, like buckle down, take this test, apply yourself, take on special projects so you can show that you could actually do the job. Nah, that's too much. That's too much. Then all right then, bro. It's what it is.
You don't want it badly enough. You don't.
Like Buck Chop, he just got back from Peru. Buck Chop, you have a next destination where you're going to for this year? Actually, do you have a list of countries you're going to for this year?
Yeah. So I'm thinking 3 countries. I'm thinking Thailand, Turkey, and what's the other country? Portugal. So I'm debating between the 3 of them. I got to pick one by May. You know, so
Flip a coin.
Thailand is the new wave, but I'm hearing some very, very good things about Turkey, man. Very good things.
Yeah.
I just like the way they look, though. It's like they got that Mediterranean look. The food, you know, is going to be bomb, and the weather in May is also going to be nice. You know, it's going to be so like.
Yeah, this turkey look right here.
Ooh,
Yeah.
hold on.
Yeah.
They got like green. Ooh, wow.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
seen the talent on Tinder, so that's you know, I'm thinking about it. So, but Thailand, you know, I've never been there, so I don't know what to say.
This is what I was seeing in Thailand. Like depending what regions that I was in, like the girl on the right, she's more in Phuket, that's southern region, and the girl on the right and the left is more north region, like Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, Bangkok. So depending where you are in Thailand, you see a whole different look of what women look like. But yeah, the girl on the right, the dark skinned one, that's a common look southern Thailand. That's common. But you go northern Thailand, you see the one on the left.
Now, which one is the majority? Is it the one on the left or the right? Like,
Well, Thailand is a brown country, but I think you find something in between those two will be the majority. Because you got your far left and your far right, but someone in the middle is the majority. But I mean, Thailand is a beautiful country, man. It's if you look beyond Pattaya and go to the different temples across the country, the culture, the food. Oh my God, the food, man! It's a whole different experience.
yeah.
And
How about you, Canola? You got any countries? List of countries you're going?
yeah. I'm actually scaling back this year. Last year I went to 6 countries. This year I'm gonna scale back. So right now I'm focused on getting back to Africa. So I'm planning to do Rwanda, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania. Yeah, the big 4 of East Africa. I'm doing the big 4. That's one big trip. And my girl and I will probably go to Jamaica or Belize. So we'll probably do that for her birthday in June. Then that's about it, really. When I come to DR, I don't consider that a trip. That's like, making my runs. But the trip for this year will be going to East Africa, doing those 4 countries. That's my trips.
Have you considered going to? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh yes, I may try to squeeze in Portugal or Romania in this year as well, like a European trip. It's one of those 2.
Have you been to Senegal before?
No, I haven't been West Africa yet. The only country that I've been to in Africa is South Africa. So I figured once I'm done, I completed South Africa in 2018. So now I'm moving on to East Africa. So hopefully next year, God willing, I'll do West Africa.
Senegal is interesting. I hadn't thought about it. It just wasn't on my radar until I ran into a Senegalese. I don't know if they're called Senegalese or Senegali or a Senegal man. Dude was like, I'm 6'2". This guy was like 6'6", 7".
Yeah.
It was dark outside, darker than dark. I didn't even imagine seeing just like, it was almost like a dark shadow moving at night. It was the oddest thing. And it startled me at first because this is tall. I'm tall. So for something to be taller than me and startled me, I was like, whoa, what the fuck? He's just coming out of nowhere because he's door dashing. I was door dashing. He came out of nowhere and he finally came into the light underneath a Coney Island that he was picking up food from, which I was also picking up food from. And I was like, I'm just looking at him. And then he started speaking. He had this really heavy, accent. I'm like, where you from? I'm from Senegal. I'm from Senegal. Where are you from? I said, well, I'm from here, but I'm trying to figure out why you are here. This is Detroit, Michigan, bro. And it's the middle of January and you got shorts on. Do you know where you at? He said, yeah, it's really cold. It's really cold. I did not expect it to be this cold. I'm like, this is not Africa. You're a long way from home. You got to bundle up. Like it was like literally snow on the ground. It's 20 degrees outside. Dude had shorts on. in the short sleeve shirt. He said, well, yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Hey, bro, you should go to Senegal. And he started describing the women there. And
Yeah.
he painted the picture so vividly. He said, they're so tall and beautiful. He said, not as tall as I am. He said, but around your height, maybe a bit shorter, a little taller, but not much different. He said, but their skin is so beautiful and chocolate, like dark chocolate. And, they're so graceful and so feminine. He started offering this information up to me, and I didn't even ask for it. So
I remember
chance encounter. I was like, Senegal. This was 2 years ago. 2 years ago in January this time.
I remember I was walking in Johannesburg. I was in an area called Mona Bay District. That's the art district. It's kind of like Wynwood. If you guys have been to Miami and been to an area called Wynwood, it's like an art district, graffiti, very artsy type. And I'm walking by myself, and I'm walking through an art festival in downtown Johannesburg, South Africa. And I saw this tall, dark-skinned, beautiful dark-skinned woman. And she was from Sudan. She had to be like 6'4". Man, I literally stopped what I was doing. I know, like, her skin was so beautiful, and her smile, and I saw it from a distance. I walked towards her way, and I just like say, fuck it, I don't know her, she don't know me, I'm gonna shoot my shot. Granted, she's 6'4". And I'm like, hey, I went to tell her, I said, listen, I had to stop whatever I'm doing. You are so beautiful. I had to tell her that. And she heard my American accent, and she started blushing. And like, that's all I wanted to say. And we spoke for a little bit, and I just, it was nice meeting and walked away. And it's just South Africa, man, guys. If you guys never been to South Africa, go to South Africa. South Africa is the hub of Africa. So you'll meet women from all over the continent in South Africa. And
hey, I met a chick from Namibia in Peru. I was like,
yeah,
What?
that was random. I was like, I wasn't expecting that, but she was actually from Namibia. I was like, okay, that's what's up. Guys, you need to try new places, man. Like, it's definitely, man. Like, folks got to travel other than these places. I mean, I don't want to constantly be seeing Parque Jarras, Copacabanas. That. I mean, I get that guys when they coming out of these relationships, these toxic relationships, they have that urge to get out of the country quick. I mean, I get that. I get that. But after a while, it gets tiresome, man. After a while, it gets tiresome, and you kind of get burned out from that kind of activity. So you like, now I got all that out of the way, out of my system. Now let me just travel for the culture, for the food, for the environment, for the views. Then the women is the icing on the cake, and that's the mentality I have right now. This is actually my next move, So it's like if I go to somewhere, and I don't get the women, and that's fine. That's fine. That's completely fine, And I'm gonna move on to the next country and repeat the same cycle, But that urge right now that I had in the past, that's gone right now, So, what do you think, Kano?
It led you to where you are now.
I agree. Again, guys, look, I'm not afraid to admit, dude, when I was going through my divorce, I went to straight hell. I was done emotionally, mentally, physically. I waited the most that I ever waited because I let myself go. I fell into a deep depression. It's to the point, bro, I was a shit show, man. I was a shit show. But traveling helped me get my life together. And once I realized, okay, in order for me to live a certain life, I have to be a better version of myself. And that's how I started picking myself up from the divorce. And again, it's crazy now. My ex-wife and I, we have an amazing co-parenting. Like amazing. I don't have that baby mama issue, that issue that most guys go through. I don't have that. If I tell her, hey, I'm gonna be gone for a month, I need you to have Gabe for a little bit longer. All right, cool. I'll just give extra money to cover any additional expenses. You know what I mean? But I went through a phase during that time where I just wanted to smash. I was smashing anything that moved. But no, I'm being transparent with you guys. I was smashing everything that would move, but guess what? I don't remember nothing. I don't remember nothing. All I remember days getting drunk, partying, banging, repeat. Okay, we're gonna go to Brazil, do the same thing. All right, did the same thing there. So I didn't really enjoy that time period because I was running away from the problem. I was escaping.
Hmm.
But guess what? Once I was able to overcome those issues, when I went back to those countries, that's when I started really enjoying the country. Because now I was like, okay, I don't need to spend hours and hours at this, at this casa or doing this, trying to schedule multiple Tinder dates on one day. It's like, okay, now I could go out and really take everything all in. So that's why I understand if you're going through something, brother, and you need that release, dude, I would not blame you one, but I'll tell you where to go. I'll tell you where to go, where to stay, and you're gonna get it in. But at the same time, once you overcome whatever you're going through and you finally let that stuff go, now it's time for you to enjoy your travels. Because guess what? In 2 years, from the past 2 years, I lost 4 good friends, died in their 40s. These were great fathers, well-to-do men financially, but their health was not the best. And that's why I'm constantly preaching to guys like, guys, make sure you take care of your health because we're not young. And guess what? We're grinding, we're making this money, but at the same time, our health is taking a toll. And a lot of us, sad to say, as black men, we die sooner than we need to. I'm not gonna lie, since I've been here in Dominican Republic, fellas, I've been eating my ass off. Dude, I got my girl. Look, you see the short in the video?
Yeah.
She looks like my girl.
You for real? Damn, bro.
Dude, every time when she saw this, she thought I was like, damn, that's me. It's like, looks like you.
Damn.
And dude, she's cooking me breakfast, like lunch. I wake up, or we go out to eat. I'm constantly drinking, eating rice and beans, and this and that. But it's just like I know my body's telling me, like, Kanal, we need to get back to work. Your body would tell you, like, hey, all right, vacation time is over. Because now I'm rolling off the bed. I'm like, dragging off the bed, moving a little slow. I'm like, man, this ain't me. But I know that, hey, I picked up some good loving pounds. But now it's just like, all right, it's the winter time. You live in Detroit, I live in Atlanta. You know how it is living in the winter. It's time for you to move. You got to grind. And it's just like, okay, I need to get back home. But as I said before, every man has their phase where they need to get it in, let it out. If you're looking for that, come to me and I'll tell you where to go. and you know what? I'm not going to shame you because of that. Dude, whatever you decide to do that's going to make you happy, give you that escape for that time being, go ahead and explore it. Because trust me, I'd rather have you do that than you do something reckless.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, man. And I rather have that. This, somebody just shoot up a mall or something like that, man.
Yeah.
Like because a lot of we got to admit a lot man's mental health illness is not discussed in the Western world. Like people always talk about the female mental health, but a lot of men in the West are going to a mental health crisis, and they're not covering that, So, traveling it could bring some kind of clarity into their lives when they travel. And for me, it's like that aspect was gone. I had a time where I had that urge, but after I hit DR, Colombia, Costa Rica, Canada, all these places, Mexico. The urge is gone now, so it's like I don't have that urge to go to, to these nightlife, spots. So for me, it's like now I'm willing to try new places and I'm willing to gamble, like by gamble, I'm like, okay, if I don't find the chicas over there, I can rely on some other aspects. The food, the culture, the views, the hospitality, other aspects of it, So and that's my next move, man. How about the other brother, man? What do you think?
I mean, I absolutely agree. For me, I haven't really had the kind of issues I think a lot of men deal with in terms of the women here. So I don't have that insatiable urge to just go, fuck everything that moves. In fact, in a lot of cases, I'm the one that turns away women to focus on other more important things. I enjoy women company, but I'm much more selective. But that's because I feel like I can be selective in a lot of cases because they present themselves to me. So for a lot of guys, they're not getting that here, and I think that's what causes, my opinion, this what causes them to have that mental illness and those mental issues, because when you're getting constant rejection, or you're not getting the kind of women that you want, or you're getting the women and they're not cooperating with you, you think you're going crazy and you start doing crazy shit. So for those guys, they will then pick their bags and leave. And for them, that's like therapy. That is therapy. I think for a lot of men, that type of intervention is better than sitting down and, talking it out about nothing, because then talking about the issue, then going back into the environment that caused the issues in the first place. So for a lot of men, going outside the country so they can get that out their system is the antidote. I would say also that it's when I hear people, and I just use this as an analogy, when I hear people talk about, money isn't everything, money don't mean anything, money is just a tool, this and that. These are usually people who are millionaires. These are people who are multimillionaires, millionaires. They make six figures already. They're money doesn't mean everything to them because they got it. They're so comfortable. They're so far removed from the issues that people can have when they don't have money that they lose sight of how things used to be when they didn't have money, assuming that they started from scratch and worked their way up to where they're making the kind of money where they can say money isn't everything, money doesn't mean anything. So, and I feel like that for some guys, for some men, including perhaps even the two of you, you've been there, done that, and and I know you say you support it, but so I'm not really saying like directing it like at you specifically. But I've seen a lot of guys, they're much more aggressive about saying to other guys who haven't been there where they've already been. And they're saying, oh, don't worry about that. You don't want to worry about the women. Or you got millionaires, you don't want to worry about the money. It's like, dude, you're not volunteering your money anytime soon. You're not going broke for me. If money doesn't mean anything to you, then give me your $1 million. You would never do something like that because it means something to you. So it's similar to guys who's like, oh yeah, I've had all the girls, I've had them all, I've been here, I've been that. And it's like, yeah, and I've evolved. And it's like, from your perspective, you want to kind of get other guys to go on that path, but yet you're talking to a bunch of guys who are starting where you were, however many years ago you started before. So that's part of the frustration, is that you're getting an influx of guys who haven't even been on this, who haven't even thought about going outside the country, and they still got that mental illness, those mental issues that they're dealing with here, and they have to get that sense of relief by doing a lot of the things that you guys have already done. Now, me, I don't have an inkling to do it, but what's the next move? I can say what it is for me, but I know how it's going to be for a lot of men, and I totally get it. They just need that release. They want to empty themselves out completely, and then however long that might take, a year, 2, 3 years, hopefully not that long, but then at some point it's kind of like, okay, now what else, right? And then they'll be on their path. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you know what, Joseph? I actually highlighted that on the beginning of the podcast. The same exact statement you made me reflect on how I perceive myself amongst others, because I'm coming from a 45-year-old who done those things already. So I had to check how I see people that's just starting traveling. I can't have that same lenses from a 45-year-old versus someone who is 22 years old.
You're a professional in the league.
Yeah.
You're talking to amateurs.
That's the thing. I had to check myself. Literally, when you made that statement on our last call, that kind of stung me a little bit, because I realized, you know what? He's right. I'm coming from a 45-year-old with over 35 plus countries that's in a good position financially, professionally, to do the things that I want to do, compared to someone who just started out. So I can't be as harsh.
You're broke.
Yes.
They haven't even been out the country for the first time yet, and they're trying to figure out how to make enough money to get to the position that you're at right now. So it's kind of like you're looking at it from a bird's eye view, like from a much higher vantage point. And you're saying, oh, I see the path they're going. And you're thinking, and it makes sense because I can admit that you're saying you're looking at it from like, oh, you don't want to go down that path because I've been down that path. But it's like the catch-22 is that they have to experience that for themselves. And there's an influx of young guys, as myself or even younger than me, who I can see where you're coming from completely. But it's like I also really can't see where you're coming from because I'm not there yet. And I'm saying that from my perspective. So, but there's a level of understanding that I have where it's like my experiences here in America won't cause me to be as aggressive like towards getting women because it just wasn't a major issue for me here. It was more so the mindset that the women have here. More so, it was less about me getting them or them coming to me. It was more about what comes with the baggage that comes with that after you get them. So for me, it's a little bit different than them, but they're going to go through that. They're going to go through that breaking period, right? And they're like wild stallions trying to look for their way. And you're from that perspective of, let me steer you this way, let me steer you. And it's like, a lot of guys are not going to hear it. They're not going to want to hear that. They want to hear, how do I get to the girls? Where can I get to them fastest?
Guess what? You're totally right about that, because when you said that, I had to like really check myself. Even today, I started off highlighting what you talked about on our last stream, that my experiences made me see things differently. Granted, you may not have experiences, so therefore you need to go create your own journey. However, all I could do is just advise you, like, hey, this is where I came from. I came from, being a married man, going through divorce, losing it all. And again, the blame is my part. I can't throw the blame towards one particular person. Accountability is everything. But also, too, it's just like, once you do finish that phase of, releasing yourself, what's next? And that's why I think a lot of my content is for the 35 old and older. I like as much as I want to relate to the younger crowd, the 20-year-olds. I'm too far removed. Like a lot of stuff that they're going through, I can't relate to that. Like when I went to college,
you got to have more patience. You got to be more patient with them. It's just not your crowd.
It's kind of interesting because, like, I look at Austin Holloman, who's doing amazing on YouTube and social media, but I look at my nephew. They're both the same age. My nephew went to Clemson University. He was a star soccer player. Guy 6'2", in shape. I mean, I tell him every day, dude, you got the sexiest legs that I've ever seen. His legs are humongous, and he has no problem getting women in the States. Nothing. Mm-hmm. So all the stuff that Austin Holloman or any of those guys are talking about, he can't relate to that because we sat down and talked about it. It's like, I can't relate what he's going through because I never had that issue. I was a star player. He tried out at Portugal soccer league. Right now he's in Sweden. It's like I never had an issue with women. So he can't relate to what a lot of these 20-year-olds are going through because he was always the star athlete, the good-looking 6'2" soccer players with nice calves, strong legs, in shape. So he can't relate to that.
That's definitely an outlier. And of course, we all seen those the jocks, right, in high school, college. They're the ones who got the type and quality of women that the guys who don't get those type of women in high school and college, they go outside the country and they're treated like the way jocks are treated here in the country. So, and it's just they see it and it's like, I want that too. But if the women aren't choosing you, if they're not choosing, you have no choice but to go in a place where you become the star player. And that really is apparently the solution. Now, I was somewhere in the middle. I was never the jock. I was more like the intellectual nerd that somehow, even unbeknownst to me, women just kept coming to me, even though I was like the shy guy in the corner. So, but I also didn't get like the high quality of women that the jocks got. The guys who were more physically demanding or have a stronger physical presence, and they were the star. It's like I was kind of like somewhere in the upper middle, I guess. But then you had the majority who was like way in the bottom, where they're just trying to get the scraps that's left over that the jocks don't want. And it's like, as a man, you don't really want that. So what is a lot of these guys going to do? Austin Holloman, he's speaking to a lot of guys who was in that bottom tier of men who could only barely get the scraps, if that. And so Austin Holloman is absolutely representing those type of men who struggled through their high school years in their 20s and for some in their 30s. And it's like, hey, you can beat a job too. Here in this country, here in this country, here in this country. Even if you got to pay for it a little bit, you know, they don't really encourage it, but they say, listen, you know, even if you're paying for it, you're still getting a lot more cooperation than you are with women here who you're not paying to get it from.
And one thing I do admit that Austin is actually doing now, he's telling these guys, get their act together, learn the language, learn the culture, go to the gym, work on yourself. And I love the fact that he's talking about those things because, again, just because you have a passport and you're going overseas, they're not going to accept you for who you are. Don't believe that bullshit. Like, oh, just come as you are. You can be a 300-pound man. As long as you got a passport, you're going to find a submissive, loving woman to love you. Yeah, she will love you to get what she wants out of you. But at the end of the day, she has the same desire as any woman across the world does. They want attractive men. So it's just like, again, to my younger brothers out there, take the time to work on yourself. Work on yourself physically, mentally, financially, and emotionally. As Book Travel mentioned, mental illness, mental health is essential. Make sure you take care of yourself, man. Because trust me, you can go to another country and experience the same bullshit that you're experiencing in the States. That's a fact. And Book Travel, you've probably seen some of the bullshit that happens overseas.
Yeah, and I've seen that many times. That's not gonna solve your problems, man. Just because you have issues in the state, when you go to overseas, man, you're still gonna face the same problems. Make sure you fix your problems in the States. Make sure your health is on point. Make sure your blood pressure is on point. Your blood sugar, everything is on point. You checking that because we don't want guys when they go overseas to pass out, to die, And I'm pretty sure, Kano, you've seen that many times, man. We lost some greats, some great ones in the travel community, just because they wasn't looking at their health metrics, and we don't want that to happen overseas, So what I advise, guys is just to work on themselves. Like, I agree with you 100%. Mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, just work on yourself. Then, book that trip, go overseas, have the time of your lives, and repeat the cycle. Come back, repeat the same cycle, man. Going overseas, it's not going to solve your problem 100%. This is a compliment. This is the icing on the cake. Once you get everything sorted out, now you can take that trip, but don't take that trip when your shit is not, lined up, you still own, child support, you haven't paid in years and all that. You definitely don't want to do that,
It doesn't solve everything 100%, but neither does money. I can say that when I travel across from Michigan to California by vehicle, by myself, it was therapeutic for me. It was exactly what I needed. And I guess on the surface, it would seem like, well, how does something like going from just a different state to a different state, how does that change your mood? I think part of it is that it's in our wiring as men. We've always been looking to travel and to explore and to see new lands. We've always done that. And I think that when we're it feels like a confinement, right? We're confined because our jobs don't allow us to make enough money so we can then travel and explore out. And so that also creates a lot of the mental illness. So a lot of men, if given the choice, if they could financially, and like Kana also mentioned, as well as time, if they had the time and the money to travel even outside of their state, for a few days or a few weeks out the year, it will solve a lot of the mental health issues that people in our community face. So traveling, as superficial as it looks like on paper, when I did it, it was like you're there on the ground, you're solving problems, and it's challenging you to some extent, and you're all of your different sensory is getting hit with different stimuli, and I never seen that before, I never did this before, because I think that's in our wiring. We're designed to see and explore and to do and to what we used to conquer. But in a way, planting our flag, planting our seed someplace, and making our presence known, marking our territory. That's what men are designed to do. So when we're not doing that, because financially we can't do it and we don't have the time to do it, then it's like a breeding ground for mental illness. So I think that's a big issue, or the motivation behind a lot of the mental health issues that we have today.
Exactly, man. If you're having problems in the States, let's say you have a bunch of issues in the States, that you haven't solved, and you decide to take a trip, let's say a 30-day trip, you have the best time of your life, but then when you come back, you coming back to the same problems, the same issues that you haven't fixed prior to you going on the trip. And that's why I tell guys, make sure you have your shit, aligned, make sure you have your shit, you're fixed up, you're right, looking good, you're feeling better emotionally. So financially, you're there. Then you decide to take that trip. That way, when you come back, you can keep running it back again. So that's what I'm
push back on that a little bit. I got to push back on that just a little bit, because I didn't have it all of my issues and things that I had going on here. I didn't have it all figured out before I took that trip. In fact, when I took the trip to California, I should have been the person to have turned it down the fastest. It was, with everything else I had going on that I needed to solve, and just like open-ended problems I needed to solve and constantly solve, I should have been the one of all people to say, nah, I'm not going to go and do this trip because I got this to take care of first. Had I did that, had that mentality, I would have never had that experience. That when I came back to Detroit, Michigan, that's what motivated me to figure out how to make the kind of money that I'm making now, which I talked about the last stream with Kanal, like I'm doing it, it's happening. But what caused that to happen, fuck it, I'm just going to say it, a couple of $1,000 just from the day alone. So it's like, but what caused that? What was the motivation that caused me to come back and say, okay, I'm gonna get on my grind, and now I'm motivated to solve my problems. Why was I motivated to solve those problems? Because I went and had that one trip that took 5 days from here to California, and then my stay in San Diego for 6 months. I was like, oh, I want to see more of this. I want to do more of this. What now do I have to do in terms of finances, or in terms of tying up loose ends at home, dealing with a lot of whatever mental issues or whatever I was dealing with? What do I have to do to expedite the process so I can get back to this place? Not necessarily California per se, but the place of that sense of freedom that I had, that I experienced, even if temporarily. So for me, it was a huge motivator, and I think that's the case for some guys too. They talk about going to Brazil or whatever. They get back on the plane, going home, they cry on the plane because they have to go back home. Similar to what I did. I literally cried on the plane coming from California back to Michigan. I was like, man, I feel like I'm taking a step back. And that's the way I felt at the time. Now, 1 year later, since coming back, that's what I needed. I needed to see that contrast, that this is what it can be. And it's like, whoa, okay, stop your brakes, come back home, and now you got to figure out how to make it a permanent reality as opposed to a temporary pleasure. And so that temporary pleasure is now manifesting to a permanent reality. But that had to happen for me. Me taking that step forward and me not worrying about the problems I was dealing with immediately. I had to go and do that first, and take a shot, and it's working out. Let's just put it that way.
I think for me, I kind of agree with both of you guys. There were times where I just put everything on the credit card. I worry about it later. I'm just keeping it a buck, man. There were times where, when I was going through my situation, lucky for me, I have great credit. So I kind of put everything on the credit, and I just went out did my thing. But guess what? When I came back on the plane, I wasn't crying because I was coming back to the States. I was motivated. I was so motivated. I had that fire in my eye, man. I'm like, yo, I'm ready. I'm ready to conquer this because you know what? I see what's out there, and I want to experience that. So while most guys will cry because they got to come back to their reality, I was coming back to the States to change my reality. I came back home so motivated, so focused. Like I said to myself, I'm gonna win this case. I'm gonna win this new contract. I'm gonna get my life in order. That was the fire in my eye. And that was after doing one trip. After I realized that, hey, I have access to all this. I could do this, I could do that, I could see this. Fuck that. I'm gonna go back home and kill it.
I wish I had that mindset coming back
That's
home. I did not have that.
Like even now, like I'm in Dominican Republic, man. I'm like, dude, I'm anxious to get back home. Like I'm just killing time because I'm playing working duties. But real talk, guys, I'm anxious to get back home. I'm anxious to get back to Atlanta. I'm anxious to go get back and get in grind mode and make this money, make some serious moves, start up a couple of business ventures that I have in mind. You know, write these blogs, edit these videos. Dude, I'm ready to get back home because the way I treat a vacation is my break. But once that break is over, it's over. Now it's time to work. And since I've been here, I've been doing interviews for these new contracts. And it's funny, like I always let them know, like, listen, I'm in the Dominican Republic. If you hear the loud merengue bachata music and the loud busted motor culture bikes, roaming through the neighborhood, my apologies. They start laughing. I broke the ice. And guess what, man? On Friday, I have my final interview. If I kill it, dude, I got a new contract, another new 6-figure contract. And dude, I'm so focused to getting back on the stage. I mean, I will.
When?
Yes, I will. I will kill it. I will kill it on Friday. But it's just like, guys, when I get back on the plane, when I'm leaving the country, I'm motivated because it shows me there's more to see and do in this world. When I left Thailand, guys, I spent 2 weeks in Thailand, did 5 cities. Man, I was coming back home, I was tired. I gave Thailand 200% of me. To move around to different regions of Thailand every single day, creating new content, meeting folks, dancing, partying, having a good time, seeing different temples. Dude, when I got on that plane, I was so tired. I was tired. But guess what? I was motivated to do it again. And that's the mindset I want every man to have. It's like, I don't want you to cry. I don't want you to cry heading back home. Fix your problem at home so you can be motivated to come back and do better. That's when I hear guys like, yeah, I was crying because I got to come back home. Dude, change that. Come back home motivated so you can do it again in 2 months. But when I come back home, whenever I come back home from a trip, I'm already looking at plane tickets. I mean, Buck Travel, you can relate to this. I'm already looking at the next destination.
Matter of fact, I was actually looking at plane tickets when I was down there in Peru, to other destinations. So I was like, yo, this is fun. I got to repeat the whole process. But for me, man, like when I was down there, I actually didn't want to go back home, man. I was like, yo, let me stay at this place, man. Because Peru is one of those places that you can't do a weekend warrior, type of stuff. You definitely need more time out there, but you definitely need more time. But the longer I was there, I was like, yo, I got to spend more days out here, man. I got to spend more and more days, but I just didn't want to come back home, man, back to the Matrix, man. But, unfortunately you have to do it. But yeah, man, it's just a way of you. This is it helps bring clarity back into your life, man. When you keep doing this, you can do it like a couple times a year. It helps you, give you that boost that you always needed.
Yeah, I mean, look at this comment from P. Gorgeous. That's where I am now. Just spent 9 months in Thailand, but ran out of money. Now I'm back in the States grinding to get a remote job. I'm coding now while listening. Job interview tomorrow. Kick ass, man. Brother P. Gorgeous, man. I hope you do well tomorrow. Get that job, man. Get that remote job, brother. Marty highlighted, I witnessed a gringo having a nervous breakdown overseas. It's not pretty. Take care of your mental health, guys, before you travel. Facts. Guys, man, a lot of us are hurt. A lot of us are not doing well. And we get onto these planes thinking that these countries are going to solve your problem. And it's not. Just like Buck Travel just said, you're not. It's not going to solve your problems, man. And it's just like, we lost several brothers overseas where they died overseas. Um, you know, guys, take care of yourself, man. I mean, it's great that you travel, but your travel's not gonna solve your problems, man. Whatever issue that you're going through, it's not gonna solve it.
Which I'm guessing also includes dietary, right? Which is why a lot of the young, well, they're relatively young, 40s, late 40s, early 50s. That's, I mean, I can't, I just know what works. Like, I, it sucks when I see it happen. I'm like, damn, like this person, like how are they, because I've seen what happened to my father. He passed away in his mid 50s from similar issues that a lot of the black men are passing away from, dietary. So even though they're traveling overseas, and this is, what you guys are right about, it's like, you're not solving your problems at home. You're taking your habits with you everywhere you go. They're taking their dietary habits with them too. Like that doesn't automatically change just because you jump on the plane and go to a different country. In fact, and as Kanal, as you pointed out yourself, you said, I gained 10 pounds, right? So whatever dietary, sticking points that you have that held you back made in the States is not as pronounced until you get to a country where now you have a lot more free time to now you can indulge in more of those dietary things or food, whatever that is. So I think it causes people to indulge even more in their habits, whether it's more alcohol, more drugs, more weed, more food, more sex.
Joseph, I've been literally indulging since I got off the plane. I've been eating bad, and I know for a fact because back home, as we talked about earlier, I have a strict routine. Dude, at 6:30 p.m., you know where I'm at. At 7:30, you know where I'm at. I follow the same daily routine every single day, even on the weekends. And while I'm here, I have no routine, so I'm literally moving without a compass. It's like I'm waking up, okay, I eat, I go back to sleep, go to the beach, have some more mojitos. That's more sugar, rice and beans, plantains, some more, chicken, whatever. Come home, bang out, drink some more. It's just like it's not a strict routine that I normally follow in the States. So that's what, like, when I get back home, bro, I already told my coach, like, hey, listen, man, I gained about 10 pounds. And he laughed. He's like, yo, I got something for you. So I'm like, all right, coach, all right, I'm ready for it. But in the meantime, I ain't gonna lie, I am drinking some coconut rum with some peach. So
you honest about it.
Hey, dude, every night I've been having my coconut and peach, man. But guess what? When I'm on that plane, it's game time, man. And that's what I love about it. It's like, all right, it's time to get back to what I need to do. And I need that. I need that routine in my life. But
I found
vacation.
Go ahead. No, I was about to say I found that for me, that's, everyone has their I guess whatever vice or habits that they have. For me, diet, I was able to keep my diet when I was traveling. Even when I was on the road, I was strict with it. And surprisingly, I was. I just didn't deviate from it, even though I was tempted by all the different things that was available. A snack, a treat here and there, a little bit. Oh, that's a different thing I never saw back in Michigan. I'll try that. But it was never like, for me, it was an indulgence. And that was just spending about 8 months out of state. And I was like, okay, I'm sticking to the same habits. I still work out roughly the same time in the morning. I still eat the same foods. I had to kind of look around and see if I can find something similar, but it's all the same things. Deviate a little bit here and there because this is something, what's a casa nada? What is that? What is this kind of dish? What is that? So I'll try different things here and there as like a treat, but I treat it the same way as I did at home. So I guess I was fortunate that that wasn't something that I noticed was an issue for me, but I know that it's definitely an issue for a lot of guys. But I think maybe because I've been doing it for so long, I don't know, or it's just a creature of habit. I'm not really sure, but I think that we can take our routine, our discipline with us everywhere we go. It would definitely help. But I don't know. Then again, I could be wrong. Maybe I haven't been tempted enough to go outside of my routine. maybe California wasn't enough for me to do that, even though I saw a lot of stuff, that's very unusual. It's like, well, if I was going to be tempted, it would be California. I'm talking new beaches, dude. I'm talking women walking around with it. Like, it was just bizarre. Just the whole new world. Like Aladdin.
I'll tell you this: when you go to Brazil, you're gonna be amazed what you see there. I mean, like I grew up in Miami. Our beaches are topless, so seeing beautiful breasts on the beach was nothing to me. Because Miami, we have a nude beach and Howlover Beach, and we also have beaches that are topless. So seeing that is being exposed to that at an early age was always a great thing, but it makes you realize, like, okay, when you go to other countries, you're not as thirsty because you've been exposed to it. Like, I never had problems meeting women here in the States. I lived in Miami. I went to school in Miami. I went to grad school in Chicago. I was dating AKAs, the Deltas. I was dating Hungarians, Russians, Italians. So that never been an issue for me. But
yeah,
being exposed to different culture and food always been my weakness. Man, but here in DR, it's just discipline is not there for me, man. I ain't gonna lie. I just feel lazy as hell here. Like maybe it's the Dominican culture. It's just that laid back atmosphere. Because I know when I was in Brazil, in Colombia, I worked out because the culture is a fitness culture there. Dominican Republic is not a fitness culture. It's like a laid back culture. And I'm literally 5 minutes away from the beach. So I go to the beach though. I want to sit down and drink chill on the shore and drink a pina colada. Like I'm drinking pina colada at 10 a.m. Okay.
No, but so that's interesting that you were motivated. It just goes to show that environment does play a role on the way our own behavior is. Because the fitness culture was in Brazil, naturally you find yourself going to the gym or working out on the beach versus where you are now in the Dominican Republic, you find yourself lazing out on the beach, right? Because if no one else on the beach is doing it, then so when I was in California, that's what I found in San Diego. It was a huge fitness culture. Like 90% of the people were fit. Like it's not the overweight, the out of shape, the lazy. That does not exist in California. First of all, because they got nothing but rolling hills there. So even if you're walking a mile, it feels like you're walking 3. But you don't really mind doing it because it's nice and sunny outside. It's 80 degrees all year round. So that perhaps is the reason why I was able to stay disciplined. So that's why I say I don't even know if I go to a place like Dominican Republic, I could end up doing the same thing like you, being tempted to just fall into the environment that I'm in, which goes to show that the environments that we are in plays a huge role on a lot of different aspects of our health, our wealth, our finances, our mental health, our spirituality. If I'm staying in the hood long enough, eventually you start to act like a hood nigga. If I stay in the wealthy area long enough, eventually you start to adopt the mindset of the wealthy. So our environment plays a big role in how we fare in life. So we have to be proactive in changing our environment. And that's just interesting that you brought that up.
Yeah, but and again, it's still I take accountability because I should be staying active because I brought my boxing gloves with me and everything. But that's like staying. That's like staying in the suitcase. I never took it out one bit. I look at it all the time. Like I do it tomorrow. Then each day's been 3 weeks now. I do it tomorrow. 3 weeks now. So it's what it is, man. But man, this is a great conversation, man. DJ Cootie, Peace BMT, what's up, man? How you doing? Marty, all the drinking that you do on vacation could intensify your emotional issues. That's true. Lucky for me. You hear that motorcycle?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, man. Oh, man, bro. Like, I don't want to go off tangent, but man, the culture here in Dominican Republic, man, they love loud music and they love loud pipes. And it's just like, it's 6:30 in the morning, man. They jamming music. I'm like, my God, it's 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. Loud speakers, man. I'm doing interviews and I have to like literally tell them like, hey, listen, just forewarning, I'm in the Dominican Republic. But it's a great culture. If you haven't been, Joseph, I highly recommend you come and check it out, man. It's a great experience.
Dominican Republic. I mean, I'll be out in that area. That could be the first place that I'm going. As like kind of like a starter country. It may be.
Yeah, it is.
But
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie, I got my eyes set on Rio. I can't even lie. That's my first. It might be premature.
No. If actually what you're doing by taking that route, making Brazil your starter country, you literally a perfect analogy would be you swimming in the deep end. It's like normally people when they travel, they start off with the Jamaica, the Bahamas, the Puerto Ricos, the Dominican Republic. Then they venture out to the Colombia. But you going straight into Brazil as your first travel. Yeah, that's like you out in the ocean and just like, you know what, fuck it. You know, no life jacket. I'm gonna just throw myself in and just learn how to swim. And that's what you're doing.
I don't know how this is gonna turn out. I will do the best I can to prep but also leave enough room for surprise because I don't want to be aware of everything. I don't want to ruin the element of surprise for myself, you know? But at the same time, I don't want to be naive and foolish. For example, that young lady that I showed y'all the other day, I knew that woman, most likely, the way she speaks English, I'm like, something's telling me she might be either she's a pro. She's got to be. And I mean like a pro.
Or used to be a pro. And now she's using YouTube as a segue out.
No, actually, it's the guy who approached, because that's how I found out about it. It was the guy who found her while he was there, and he was speaking about her. I mean, look, as soon as I brought the pictures up, y'all was like, "Whoa!" Like you just see nothing but comments of men saying, "I want to marry you. I want to marry you." That's a gorgeous, and the way she carry herself on video, like it's even better than in the pictures. And it's like, well, I wonder what that's like in person.
I've seen her videos.
You have?
Yeah, I have. I could tell she probably was in the game, and now she's using YouTube as a way to segue into a new profession. But
maybe tours.
Tours, giving guys
what
tours because like right now they're promoting Brazil very heavy, so a lot of guys need tour guides, and what better way to get attractive women to show you around? Yeah, that's a win-win situation.
I'm going to need a little guide, not that long, just kind of give me like a refresher. But then you got, I think, a larger segment of those men from what I've seen. And apparently they want something of them more than a tour, which I don't know. It's speculation. I don't know. All I know is that I just want the tour. So I'm saying right now, I'm going to keep my hands to myself, and I'm just going to focus on the tour. But that could change as soon as I get around her. I don't even know. Usually I'm pretty cool, even killed, but I don't know. I have no idea. So I don't want to say like, yeah, I'm a G. I'm just going to show up there.
There's a comment from Keymaker. The older Brazilian chick that is on YouTube is a Hall of Famer pro. Yeah, I would assume that as well. Whenever like there's certain segment of women that constantly entertain Americans, because a lot of Americans don't venture out. They stay in one particular area in Copacabana, and they rarely venture out to any other areas in Rio. So, and that's my advice to you, Joseph, that don't limit yourself to one particular area. Like, go check out Leblon, Ipanema, other areas of Rio de Janeiro. But also, too, if you're there for 2 months or 3 months, fly out to São Paulo. Go to Bahia. Go to other northern cities. And there's a lot of stuff to see and do. Brazil has 26 states, man, and don't limit yourself to a beach in Rio. Don't do that, which a lot of guys tend to always do.
Do you think a big reason why they do that is because of the language barrier? That is more so that than it is fear, but the fear of not being able to communicate effectively?
No, it's convenience. Rio de Janeiro, and especially Copacabana, caters to tourists. So you're more likely to meet someone that speaks English in that area versus if you were to go to Lapa or if you were to go to Ipanema. So if you limit yourself to Copacabana, you kind of more than likely will meet other brothers. There's one particular spot called Mabs, That's where all the brothers go to. Like that's a lot of the foreigners who go there, but particularly black men will go to Mavs to eat, and that's where most of the expats, the travelers, they meet there. There's a nightclub called Dolce Vita. Same thing. Everyone goes there. If you go there, you'll meet a guy from the state instantly. My advice to you is that don't limit yourself to Copacabana. Yes, go and see it and experience it. Go to Maps, go to Dolce Vita, but don't be there for like 2 weeks doing the same shit every day, where you can literally have access to the entire country.
You know how that makes sense to me. But I was thinking like we all know how that we have the music that we listen to. We hear a new song, and then we get addicted to that new song, and then we almost refuse to listen to any new song from that artist. It's like, I just gotta have this on repeat, because you just don't want to take that chance of listening to a bad song, even if it's only 3 minutes long. So I think that's kind of like just that human nature aspect of it, where you experience something so great. Part of the fear is, what if someplace else I go isn't as great as the place I'm at? But unbeknownst to them, that other place is greater than that place they was at before. Kind of like you listen to a song that's like a song that came out 5 years ago, you don't want to hear it. But then you listen to it 5 years later, it's like, damn, when did this song come out? How come I didn't hear about this song? It's because you refuse to listen to anything better than the song that you thought you loved so much, and you found something that you love even more. So I think that's just the human nature, and it's a constant fight. Even when I'm just listening to new music, I'm like challenging myself, like, okay, I'm familiar with these songs, I know I can jam to this, but let me go ahead and venture out of that. And I have to make a conscious decision to do that. So if we're talking about in terms of like traveling and going to different cities outside of a Rio or outside of a Medellin or outside of a Pattaya, you're talking about forcing yourself to do something that's already uncomfortable, which is experiencing something new that you may or may not even like. But that, for me, is part of the whole experience. But still, as a human being, it's challenging because it's like, but I like this. So, yeah, you make a lot of sense, and I'm hoping that I can stick to that. And like, if I go to these places and experience these different spots and go like, wow, I really love this, or I love this particular food, but I'm looking at this and it's, yeah, but I like this. Like, I'm used to this certain part of the menu, but I know I should try something different, but I'm not going to do it. It's got to be the same way with traveling. So, it's just the hive. It's just that, I don't know, that familiarity of it all. You're familiar with something that already feels good. It's like, well, why fix something that's not broken? But it's like, well, why not improve on something that's already fixed? That's the kind of mindset you're coming from.
Yes, but also too, you can always come back. You can always come back. So for me, and I'm using Thailand as an example, I took a chance going to Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai. Dude, like, this is the northern part. Those are the two most northern cities of Thailand, and I didn't know what to expect. All I knew, I was going to go check out some temples, check out the Elephant Sanctuary and the Tiger Kingdom. But once I got there, man, I had a blast. It actually made my trip more grand than what it was. So by me just taking that chance, it's like, if you decide to go to this new city, if you don't like it, all right, cool. At least I've been there. And that's why I try to encourage guys, even though you may not like it, at least you say you've been there. So when I speak to someone from Thailand, I can say, yeah, I've been to Thailand. I've been to Chiang Mai, because the first thing they're gonna think, oh, you probably went to Pattaya, right? I'm like, no, I went to Chiang Mai. I went to Chiang Rai. For real? You been to Chiang Mai? Yeah, I've been to the so-and-so temple. I went to so-and-so nightclub. Oh shit, like that blows their mind. Like whenever I speak to a Brazilian, I always tell them, like, I've been to Bahia. It's like, Bahia, I've never been there. I've heard so many great things about it. Because the first thing they're gonna say is like, well, we're expecting you to just say Rio, Copacabana. Same thing as Colombia. When I speak to Colombians, I let them like, yeah, I've been to Cali, I've been to Bogota, I've been to Barranquilla, I've been to Buenaventura. Oh snap, for real? Like, that's different. Because for them, they think that most people just go to Cartagena and Medellin. Same goes for the Dominican Republic, man. I say, I started naming some small city, and their eyes just lit up. Like, oh wow, you've been there. Like I say, Constanza, which is the highest point of Dominican Republic, which is also the coldest. It's like, wow, you been up there? Like, yep, I drove up there. Or I've been to Monte Cristi. Like, I'll name some of the most unknown cities to the people that from that country. They like, wow, you've been around, and that's what I like to do.
I think it adds a lot more character to you as well, right? A lot more flavor and color to your traveling experience versus the, what you typically see, or even what people typically expect to hear from black men. And because it's like, it's a pigeonhole, right? It's, oh yeah, I know where you've been. Are you talking about traveling?
Yeah.
Or you plan on going? You plan on going to Rio? You plan on going to, this place? You plan on going to, Pattaya? We know where you going. It's no whoop-de-doo, no surprise. But if you got guys like you coming out saying, actually, Pattaya was my last stop, and I didn't even like it so much. In fact, I prefer Chiang Rai. I prefer Chiang Mai. I prefer. You're blowing my mind.
It's funny when I say that to brothers. I'll say like I didn't like Pattaya that much, and the Pattaya was cool, but it was all right. They're like, oh, you caping, you capping, whatever you like, whatever the new phrase they use nowadays. I'm like, yo, my experience is not your experience. I mean, yeah, I still got it in, still had a great time, but if I were to compare it to like overall experience, I had a more great time in Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai. I had a great time in Phuket. But again, I like to explore. I like to move around, especially if I'm going to be in the country for quite a while. Why not explore it? Why limit yourself to one place? And that's my advice to you, Joseph, that as you go to Brazil and be there for a month or so, explore, man. Don't limit yourself to Rio. Go to São Paulo, go to Bahia. Like, book those tickets, man. Just go. Get that one-way ticket to Bahia, get that one-way ticket to São Paulo. And let's say, when you decide to come back home, you know what? I was in Brazil for 1 month. I went to 3 major cities.
You mentioned 2 cities I hadn't considered. I had 2 other cities in mind. One smaller, one I guess is mid-size, and the smaller one is north of Rio, which is Cabo Frio. I know that's a wealthier area that's a wealthier. I guess that's like essentially where the wealthy of Brazil gather, which is where I intentionally want to go to, because I like dealing with money and people who got money, and that's just kind of. So that's like, oh, that's cool. That's like what they call it, like the Miami Keys of Brazil, something like that. And then there's another city. Is it Florianopolis? Did I pronounce that right?
Yes.
Yeah. I want to go there as well, which is, I don't know if it's not as popular as Rio, and I found that not a lot of other travelers or black travelers go there as frequently because it's not as much English speaking. So it's not as to me, Bahia is more of an extreme. The other city that you mentioned, Sao Paulo, it's more of an extreme, and I'm thinking more so the language barrier. And I'm thinking like, well, if I venture out that far to those other 2 cities, I would want to have at least basic, I don't have to be intermediate, but at least beginner to intermediate Portuguese speaking skills. So that way I don't want to be stuck out there just trying to use Google Translate and looking like, I won't go that far. I think Florianopolis might be stretching it even more so. Cabo Frio. Am I on the right track here?
No, you know what? Don't limit yourself. You're there for a month. I think you plan to be there for a month or so, or 2 months.
It'll be about a month. A month.
So I'll say this, man.
1 week.
Do 1 week. Do 1 week in Rio, 1 week in Bahia, 1 week in São Paulo. The 3 major hubs. That will give you a good indication as far as how Brazil is. You experience the touristy of Brazil, the African experience of Bahia, and you got the central business hub of São Paulo. So that way, if you decide to come back, okay, now I can go to other areas. But those are the 3 major cities: Rio, Bahia, and São Paulo. Do those 3 as your start.
Damn, man. I'm gonna have to just get into this Portuguese and start. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I got some lead time. I still got 2 months. So, man, I didn't, Portuguese. That shit looks complicated, but I'm for it. I like a good challenge. I'll go ahead and do it. I do the Portuguese, and if I'm really confident in my beginner Portuguese, and if I feel like, okay, I just got to be able to just take care of myself in those cities that are predominantly Portuguese, or if not all Portuguese. Like I might run into one or two English speakers if I'm lucky. I just don't want to be that one person. Nervous thinking about it, but
anyways, I got to get ready to end the show, man. I didn't expect it to be almost 2 hours long. But hey, just want to say thank you. You want to close it out, man? Give you the closing statements.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to. This is 2023. I'm looking forward to having a good time and learning some things and challenging myself. I'm already mentally challenged. Just you saying I should go to those two. I'm like, oh, damn, man. You know? So I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna push myself. I'm looking forward to pushing myself and growing as a person, as an individual, as a man, and seeing what I'm capable of, seeing what situations I can get myself involved in, intentionally or unintentionally, and how I maneuver from that point, from those areas, and especially in a foreign country. I've done it here in the States. I could do it now again and again in probably shorter time. So I know how to work it, but this is different. Everyone here speaks English. So there's going to be a different level of challenge. So I'm looking forward to that. I appreciate everything that you've done, everything that you've created, this platform that you built for the few of us that are on it, at least on the lives to communicate.
I appreciate anyone and everyone who takes the time to listen and be part of the conversation and just be part of the movement, man. Again, the Passport Bros, I wish you guys the best. You guys have something strong, but as I said before, tell your story. Don't let someone else tell your story. And my advice to you, Joseph, is as you prepared for Brazil, yes, start learning the language. Start learning some key phrases. You don't need to know the entire language, but just know some key phrases to get by. But also, too, don't limit yourself. I can't say this enough. I highly recommend you do Rio, Bahia, and São Paulo. That will give you a good introduction to Brazil. And start networking, man. Start jumping on Tinder, man, and start getting that conversation going. If you could join an online language class, do that before you get there. Online language class before you get there, 1 month before you get there. So, you can start practicing some of the phrases or learn some new phrases that you use. I think you learn more if you speaking with someone. Learning on your own is kind of difficult. But if you put yourself in an online class, and it's like an online class could cost you like $50, man.
That's not bad.
That's not bad, man. And just start researching, man. Start figuring out which are some of the best restaurants to go to, some of the best lounges, upscale lounges, clubs, social events. Be familiar with what's going on. Any major holidays during the month of April or May, or whenever month you decide to go. Try to figure out those things. Like, go to the dollar store tomorrow. Go get that notepad and pen and start writing down what you want to do in those cities, man. Like, when you start writing things down and places you want to go, and even start pipelining via Tinder or Plenty of Fish, like, you're now mentally preparing yourself to go there. When you start putting pen on paper, if you're just talking about it, you're not going to go. But once you take the first action to put pen on paper and buy that plane ticket, like that one-way ticket or round-trip ticket, that's when you know, okay, it's official. Now you're officially on the clock.
And I have to go because I got the ticket.
You got to go. Then you got to go then. So now it's just you going to the dollar store tomorrow. Go get your notepad and pen. I do that for every country I go to. I go to the dollar store. I shit you not, Joseph. I go to the dollar store, get me a notepad, and I put Thailand on the cover. Thailand, Brazil, Poland, and that's my notebook. And I carry that notebook wherever I go. And when I research, even when I'm pipelining, dude, when I'm pipelining chicks on Tinder, bro, I put the name, who I'm speaking to. It's just, bro, that notepad is like my blueprint.
I never thought of doing that. That's a great idea.
Yeah, man. I always recommend guys to go get that notepad and create the travel book. And at least you know, okay, when I arrive in Rio, when I arrive in Sao Paulo or Salvador, Bahia, these are all the restaurants I want to go to. These are all the nightclubs and lounges, samba schools I want to go to learn how to dance samba. You know, you have that list down. So when you touch down, you already know where you're going to go. The tourist destination, you already got all that information. It's now you just going versus you just showing up. Yeah, versus you just showing up like, okay, I'm here now. What's next? That's poor planning. But if you identify all the places you want to go and do on your notepad, no, that's gonna make the process a lot easier when you get there.
Yeah, I have bookmarks of a lot in terms of Brazil, but that notebook idea makes more sense in terms of taking those bookmarks I have on a computer and just transferring it to like
put
a
on
plan, like
notepad.
step one, step two. Yeah. Notepad.
Yes, put it like whenever I learned this through my mentor. Whenever you put something pen on paper, it becomes official. Because now you see it, then you've got to take an action. If you bookmark it on your computer screen, that can easily be forgotten. But if you actually take the time to write it down on a piece of paper and put it on the table, like at your eating table or your working table, and you constantly looking at your notes, you're going to look at it. You're going to review it. Okay, I need to add more things to it. Do I need to take out things out of it? Again, you're going to make the experience a lot more grand versus just bookmarking on your computer because you're not taking your computer with you.
Yeah.
But a notepad, you can be on the plane at the airport looking at your notes.
Just thumbing through it. That's a great idea. The pictures and I'm doing that. I'm no kidding. I'm not even joking. I'm going to this dollar store right up the street from me, Dollar Tree. Go ahead and get myself a notebook and some just Office Depot. Print out some of those pictures and things. Just organizing the things ideas I have, and that is such a damn good idea.
And one thing I want to do too is like, I want you and I to schedule some time, a one-on-one time. So when you do have your notes, so you and I can sit down and just go through your notes and make sure that you square it away. Like I really want you to have an amazing experience there. And if it means I got to schedule some time for us to just have a one-on-one talk and just go over your notes. Okay, this is what I recommend. Go here, go there. If you want to go to Favelas, this is the fella that I recommend that you go to. Here's the contact. I want to make sure that you fully square it away, man, because I want to be living through you. The fact that you're having a great time and experience things that I experienced while in Brazil, I'll be happy for you, man. And again, you may not even need a tour guide. You may not even need the chick because you may have chicks lined up like, yo, I'm good. Man, dude, you're a handsome man. Look, it's what it is, man. You're a handsome guy. You speak very intelligently. You prepare yourself. Dude, once I prepare you to move the way you need to move in Brazil, you're gonna be A-okay, bro. And again, I'm not charging you. No consultation fees, bro. I'm passing the torch to you. Like, yo, it's your turn. I want you to run with it. And it's just like all I ask for is an interview. When you get back to Detroit, like, yo, have a one-on-one podcast. Like, hey, I need you to share your experience to the audience, man. That's all I want.
And as soon as you said Detroit, my body just recoiled. San Diego is part of where my home base is going to be. Even Florida.
Okay.
Just I don't want to hear.
Okay.
I appreciate that, and it's not me just talking like hot air, like I'm speaking it, and it's manifesting like this. I mean, like I said last call, I'm forced to wait a month. Like I can just chill right now. I'm going to keep making money because it's like, why not? I know how to do it, but it's like if I can walk away, it looks like I might be able to come away with maybe 20 grand. I might be able to do it, but I don't need that much. But it's like, if I come away with that, then I might be able to spend more time in Brazil. Instead of a month, I can stay for maybe 2 or 3 months. So I'm not trying to rush and fit everything into one space to make sure I don't run out of money while I'm out, traveling, having a good time. But but yes, I'm already well prepared for it. It's not just, a lot of people I get, they talk and it's like, oh, you want to do these things, but you can't. You're not even in a position to do it. I actually am, and I thank God that I am, because I fought tooth and nail for this, because that's how bad I wanted it. It's just not a game to me. Even though I'm going to have a good time, for me, this would be like, it'd be like, finally, 2 years of this, back and forth to try to get something to work and pan out the way that it is, so I can actually go to Brazil. And I didn't expect this level of help or this level of reaching out to me. I'm thinking in my mind, I'm just going to go ahead and just wing it, do the best I can, and figure some things out. But knowing that I don't have to do it alone,
you don't have to.
comforting feeling.
You don't have to. Like I said, I'm taking you under my wing, and I'm passing the torch to you, where I want you to have the best life, the best experience ever in Brazil. And if it means you're not having one-on-one sessions, making sure that these are the places you need to go, even Airbnb, where to stay. I want to help you pick the right places to stay, because I'm gonna basically teach you everything that I know, and I'm gonna pass it on to you. So as you continue to travel the world, you can apply these same tactics for your other travels. So this year, I said to myself, I'm all about passing the torch, and I want to pass on the knowledge to the younger guys who are traveling. Like, hey, listen, you can do the same thing that I'm doing for half the cost. You don't have to pay consultation fees to move the way I move. And trust me, I move better than most of these other guys. I'm not being arrogant. I'm not being cocky. It's what it is, man.
You do.
Because the thing is, I'm all about planning and research. And I'll sit down with you, okay, I'll pick the places where you need to stay. And I'll make sure these places, you're going to trust me. They're going to be like, oh, wow, this is nice. And you're paying a fraction of the cost.
So I'm not end up with a bunch of duds saying, oh, I thought the Airbnb picture said it showed this.
No.
I'm staying in the shack. What is going on?
Again, Joseph, like, people who know me, man, I sat down with a lot of guys in the group, and we had our one-on-one sessions. Now, okay, cool. This is what you need to do. Now, if you choose not to listen to me, that's on you. But if I'm taking the time, like, hey, listen, this is what you need to do. These are the cities you need to go to get a full general idea as far as what Brazil is, or Colombia is, or DR, whatever country you want to go to that I've been to, I'm gonna sit down and walk you through the process. And all I want in return is for you to just come back and just share your experience. That's all.
Oh, this is happening in real time. So, 2 months, 3 months from now, I'll be having a different conversation. I'm not going nowhere, no time soon. I'll be busy. I'll be traveling, but when I check in, they'll be like, hey, this is what happened. This is how it worked out. This is what I did. So it'll be, instead of me, listening to the two of you or Marty or the last guy that came on and hearing your travel experiences, it'll be also me contributing to that and saying, like, this is what I did.
No, if anything, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have a one-on-one live stream with you, and you're gonna show your damn receipts. Because that's all I ask. Show them damn receipts, man. That's it. Go take pictures, record your experience, tell your story. Because again, there's another man out there looking at you. Another man's looking at you to see how you move, and they may be inspired in how you move because you are younger. And I always tell guys, man, just continue to pass the torch, because someone passed the torch on to me, and I'm doing the same. That's all I'm doing.
Well, thank you for that. Just real quick, I just want to address Marty real quick. I mean, she already got my last name, bro.
Yeah.
That's on my Instagram. Ain't shit I can do about that. I mean, I'm not worried about her having. It's like I'm not. I've been around strippers. I've been around workers here. They're everywhere in Detroit. So, and I'm used to it. So for me going there, I'm not like, oh, she's gonna be my she's literally gonna be my tour guide. That's literally what the use I have for her. That's my intention anyway. Now, if she wants something more, that's up to her. But the whole paying for it, it's not something I do. So we'll see. We'll see what happens when I get there. I don't think I'm gonna do Tinder. I don't think I will, because I'm just gonna let it happen as it happens. If I see something I like, she likes me, then that's how it happens. Usually that's how it happens anyways. I don't spend a whole lot of time apps and things like that. If I'm there and I can see the woman face to face, that's a better judge of character to me, because I might not even like the girl. If I'm talking to a girl 2-3 weeks before I get there and we don't even click, or then it's like I wasted 3 weeks of my time. So in my mind, I'll just drop there and see what happens. Because women is not my primary motivation. It's just like, like the gentleman said earlier, they're like icing on the cake to me. I don't have a problem with getting women here, but so I don't foresee myself having issues there. So I'm just gonna let it just play out the way that's gonna play out. I'm not worried about this chick that's on Instagram. She's gonna help me introduce me to her. And someone said you should use her for friends too. I said, oh, that's a good idea. That's probably gonna happen naturally by itself. You should be my friends. You should meet it. Cool. Yep. I'm paying her $100 to just show me around for the whole day. She might think I'm going to expect something more. I don't. That's probably going to trip her up. It fucks them up all the time. What do you mean you don't want to have sex? You thought, no, you think. What are you thinking? I thought, what was you thinking? I'm just here to have a good time. I mean, like, that's, they end up usually coming back around. So that's my game, y'all. I say, just let them come to me. Let them come to me. Let them come to me. I don't do the whole pursuing thing. It's always been a waste of time. That's the secret. That's all since high school. I was the guy chilling in the back of the class, being a nerd. All the guys chasing the other girl with the big titties and all that. I'm just like, oh, that was a nice rack. I'm just minding my own business. She wants to be the one. So I learned that since high school. It's always the one. They're the ones that choose. That's just That's the game. So I'm going there with that same mindset that I've always had since I was in high school. That's never changed. It's 11th grade, actually. Yeah. Ain't shit changed. So we'll see, Marty. I'll let you know how it goes. I'll let you know how she is. I'm sure she's friendly enough. She looks friendly. We'll see.
All right, so we're gonna close it out, man. Hey, Joseph, it was a pleasure, like always, to have you on. We'll definitely be talking offline. Like I said, man. So, did you buy your plane ticket already, or you in the process of doing that?
I can't. I gotta wait. Like, I'm literally sitting on this money, and I have to wait exactly 1 month from today, and I'm not even kidding. As soon as I get that payout, as soon as it hits the bank account, however many couple of thousand it is. Because, like I said, I know what it is now, but it's probably going to be more by the time a month passes. It's like immediately, I'm going to have that ticket. I wish I could buy it now, but I got to be patient. There's nothing else I can do.
Okay. As soon as you buy that plane ticket, send me a DM and we're going to start the planning process.
Phew, man. Shit happening.
Yeah. So guys, we're gonna put Joseph on the clock. As soon as he buy that plane ticket, we'll make it official. I'll be your official coach. And we're going to start the process, man. And again, like I said, I'm going to take care of all the coordination in regards to like finding the Airbnb. We're going to finalize on what cities you're going to go to. You're not staying in you're not staying in Copacabana. You're not sticking to one place. You are forced to travel around Brazil. You have to, man. You have to. And we're going to get you squared away, man. We'll get you squared away. And we just want to see you win. We just want to see you win, and we just want you to come back and report the experience. That's all we want.
Oh, this shit's going to be wild. All right, man. Shoot. You got a little bit of time. This is the process. So I'm looking forward to it, though. This is the experiment.
Okay, man. All right, then. Well, hey, man, we're going to let you go, man. You have a good night, man.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. Later, bro. All right, guys, it's been over 2 hours and 10 minutes. Man, look, thank you. This was a last-minute stream. As I said, I'm kind of off my sleeping, so I'm just doing podcasts. If I feel like I'm in the mood to do it, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. But I just want to say thank you, guys. Thank you for taking the time and listening to my small little podcast channel, my little YouTube channel. You know how Black folks like to say your little business, your little job. Hey, you know what? I appreciate you guys listening. Like I said, to the Passport Bros, man, to whoever guys, To the guys who are out there claiming to be passport bros, dude, what is your next move, man? And are you telling your story, or are you allowing someone else to tell your story? I've been traveling for over 20 years, man. Been to 35 countries. I have a website. When people want to call me a passport bro, I just tell them to go to www.blackmantravels.com. Yes, I got receipts. I'm constantly updating receipts. I'm constantly writing blogs. I'm constantly, adding more pictures and editing videos on my channel. So, guys, for me, all this boils down to passing down the torch. That's it, man. I got nothing to gain trying to blow smoke up your ass, trying to say you some false dream about life is gonna be better overseas, dude. It all boils down to how you move, man. Whatever issues you're trying to run away from, that issue's still gonna be there when you come back home. Try to be a better version of yourself, be a better man, better husband, better father, better brother, and just use traveling as the icing on the cake, man. Now, if you consider, becoming a digital nomad, I do talk about life as a digital nomad. I'm a digital nomad. If you're thinking about becoming an expat or you're thinking about opening a business, I'll be having more live streams around those topics. But again, guys, try to become a better version of yourself always, and tell your own story. Don't let someone else dictate your travel experience, man. Take the time to research, plan for your travels, explore and see the world. Trust me, ladies will always be there. And if you gotta go it in, if you gotta get it in. I'm not gonna hate because I did it. But just enjoy yourself. There's more to life to just chasing after women. There's more to life, man. And just want to say, have fun, be happy, and just do the fuck what you want to do. Just gonna close it out. Thank you. Salute. Guys, be easy, man. Bye.